Some Russian media outlets report that demand for PS-90A aircraft engines is increasing. Local aircraft manufacturers are now mass-producing the PS-90A engines in substantial quantities to meet their demands. Furthermore, the PS-90A engines undergo continuous improvement. However, it is premature to conclude that Perm Motors has started mass manufacturing updated versions of the PS-90A turbofan engines and is constantly updating them. Neither the first import-substituted version of the Tu-214 flying laboratory, on which the Kazan aircraft plant intends to test all of the aircraft's latest components, assemblies, and parts, nor the first flight-tested prototype of the IL-96-400M, have the most recent and modern modification of the PS-90A engine under their wings. In their current configurations, both of these aircraft are not in high demand among Russian carriers, especially considering the MC-21's anticipated upgrade to more modern fifth-generation PD-14 engines, including its long-haul variant. The PS-90A, created in 1989, is the first and maybe only serially produced Russian two-spool turbofan engine in its class to obtain our IEC and European ETOPS type certifications. This means that Russian aircraft equipped with these engines became the first to fly international passenger trips without restrictions. The Tu-204 and 214 IL-96 and 76 aircraft today use PS-90A engines. This engine has several modifications, including the base version, PS-90A, and its subsequent modifications, PS-90A1, PS-90A2, PS-90A3, and of course, one of the most widely produced today, the PS-90A76, which was specifically developed to replace the outdated D-30KP engines on IL-76 transport aircraft. The PS-90A3 series engine is one of the most advanced types, with increased durability and economic efficiency. However, commercial use has not yet occurred. Designed specifically for the Tu-204SM in partnership with U.S. Pratt & Whitney, the PS-90A3 engine is essentially an import-substituted version of the more robust and cost-effective PS-90A2, which received approval in 2009. Russian aircraft had already certified, mass-produced, and mounted the basic PS-90A engine while developing the PS-90A2. Perm Motors intended to update this engine in the early 1990s to a more modern and competitive level. After the USSR collapsed and the subsequent rapprochement with the West, Perm engine builders began considering the possibility of modernizing the PS-90A in 1993, with the support of the Ministry of Industry and Trade in collaboration with Pratt & Whitney. Furthermore, Pratt & Whitney was already aware of the terrible circumstances in the Russian aircraft sector, as well as the PS-90A's flaws and issues, and offered collaboration to produce a modern aircraft with two crews based on the Ulyanovsk variant of the Tu-204, maintain domestic civil aviation competencies, and acquire American innovations. An urgent aircraft engine upgrade was required. Pratt & Whitney agreed to assist, but only in exchange for a 50% ownership position in JSC Aviat, with the U.S. partners joining the charter capital of the strategically important firm Perm Motors. At the same time, Russian airlines were acquiring American Boeing passenger planes. It is also worth noting that due to a shortage of funds, Perm Motors did not supply a single new PS-90A engine between 1996 and 2001. According to Russian media, to demonstrate the PS-90A's uncompetitiveness, Pratt & Whitney purchased one new manufacturing engine for $3.3 million through intermediaries. During testing, the PS-90A engine surprised Pratt & Whitney engineers by holding its own. To complete the full cycle of bench tests, the basic PS-90A engine was shipped to a test stand in Germany. The engine was outfitted with an electronic digital control system, a variety of components and sensors, and put to testing at its full potential, driving it to the brink of destruction. The test findings revealed that the PS-90A was a rather good engine, and with more refinement and the resolution of its teething problems, it could become a very competitive offering. As part of the joint engine modernization to the PS-90A2 version in the 2000s, the design incorporated high-pressure turbine components made of a new single-crystal alloy with ceramic coating technology. The combustion chamber also received a metal ceramic covering. In addition, most components, attachments, and assemblies were replaced with imported ones. The new engine variant, PS-90A2, also had a FADEC-type full-authority digital engine control system. Factory tests revealed that the modified engine's dependability increased while retaining its mass and dimensional features. Simultaneously, the engine reduced the maintenance and operating workloads by half and lowered the lifespan cost by 40%. Furthermore, the option of increasing engine thrust from 16 to 18 tons became accessible. After successfully completing flight tests, the Tu-204LL Flying Laboratory certified the PS-90A2 on December 29, 2009. In 2010, these engines powered the introduction of the Tu-204SM, the first modernized version of the aircraft, with a two-person crew. Meanwhile, construction on the most recent version of the Tu-204SM began. The designers aimed to make the new Ulyanovsk Tushka export-ready, given that the Tu-214SM was already competitive with Western aircraft at the time. However, the U.S. State Department, concerned about the situation, imposed tight limitations on the sale of these engines as Pratt & Whitney owned the intellectual property rights. As a result, exporting the Tu-204SM with PS-90A2 engines without American authorization was impossible. The U.S. government was principally concerned that the Russian aircraft sector, equipped with these engines, might eventually capture a share of the commercial civil aviation market. They asserted that only the domestic market could operate the Tu-204SM, particularly given that American businesses supplied the majority of the aircraft's onboard equipment. Furthermore, the Tu-204SM cost much less than foreign aircraft in the same class. However, Aviadvigatel anticipated the outcome and created a similar Russian version of the power plant, the PS-90A3, based on it. After manufacturing and testing the first prototype PS-90A3, it became clear that the new Russian version retained all the advantages of the PS-90A2 engine while incorporating American equivalents. The approval for the PS-90A3 engine came in January 2011. The same year, Pratt & Whitney sold its portion of the permitted capital and exited the perm engine makers. In 2012, during the unveiling of the domestic PS-90A3 power plant, the state corporation announced the installation of these engine variants on newly produced IL-96, Tu-214, and Tu-214 aircraft. Rostec announced in 2014 that it had purchased all intellectual property rights to the PS-90A2 engine from Pratt & Whitney and would begin serial manufacture of the PS-90A3 variant without any restrictions. However, it is now 2024 and the first modern wide-body IL-96-400M has taken its first flight using PS-90A1 engines. In 2007, the design and certification of this power plant for the IL-96-400T transport version resulted in an increased thrust of up to 17.4 tons. Domestic carriers have already stated that they only require the IL-96-400M in a two-engine version with the upcoming PD-35 engines, so there are no potential buyers for this version in a four-engine form. As previously noted, the recently flown fully import-substituted version of the Flying Laboratory Tu-244LL boasts modern avionics and engines. However, based on the footage of this aircraft, it appears that it remains equipped with the same basic PS-90A variant. The manufacturing of PS-90A3 engines for the Tu-214 is also not going as smoothly as expected. Aeroflot's most important requirements for the plane are a redesigned cockpit for two crew members, a lighter airframe, and the most recent variants of the PS-90A3 engines. Serial production of the PS-90A3 engine version never occurred and continues to this day. Perm Motors is currently modifying the basic PS-90A engines to match modern specifications before providing them as replacement kits from storage. According to rumors online, the company is working in this direction, and full-scale serial production of PS-90A3 engines will begin soon. However, there is no large-scale order for Tu-214, and Perm Motors facilities are occupied with the development of newer PD-14 power plants, despite the anticipated delivery of 270 MS-21 aircraft by 2030. The engine's only hope is that Kazan modifies the Tu-214s to suit current specifications while maintaining demand from domestic carriers. Now, do you think the PS-90A3 engine can find its use in Russia? Let us know in the comments. Don't miss out on the latest aerospace insights. Hit that like and subscribe button for more amazing content. Please also take a look into our memberships to support us.